Welcome, Anthony. We are glad to have you with us today on this platform. So please, Anthony, share your journey with us that how working in different countries, Ghana, Qatar, and then other worlds where you have worked, share your journey that how you started your teaching career, then how working in different education systems has shaped you and you have shaped the systems of different schools.
Thank you very much for the invite, and it's a pleasure. My journey begins in London, which is home for me. And, my experience was working in underdeprived areas of London, where education is such a tool to empower young people. And my experience actually took me to the international space. So, as you mentioned, I've worked in Qatar, I've worked in Togo and Ghana, West Africa. For me, leadership is a very simple thing. It's how do you serve and ensure the people in your care are able to flourish and thrive through the conditions that a leader creates. So for me, if we're going to talk about leadership, for me it's about leadership and about creating certain environments with intentionally designed systems that allow the young people and allows the teachers and staff to thrive and flourish.
Lovely, lovely. We believe same things, and we are looking forward a wonderful conversation today in this podcast. So I want to know your views on how different countries, like in which systems you have worked, are you working towards teacher wellness or student wellness, because there's a lot of mental stress find out, and teachers always talk about the burnout problems. So what are the measures which you have taken as a leader towards it, and what is your point of view on this mental wellness programs which has to be there for teachers and students?
I agree. Mental wellness, I think, in most institutions is a bit of a blind spot. People
Right.
are not really focused on it. They're focusing on the outcomes. They want to get results. But you're right. Teachers, it has to be sustainable. Teachers are human beings and things
Right.
have to be balanced. So for me, what I always do with my middle leaders and even the staff I speak to, I have this idea of a plate. What's on your plate? Is it too much? Is it too little? Is it just about right? And for me, teachers need to make sure that we've given them time to plan, to assess, to mark. Anything else needs to be removed. So for me, in terms of actual well-being, it's does a teacher have just about the right things on his plate, the things that are important? Do we have a roadmap for the teacher? A teacher might want to get into leadership or into coordination. Do we have a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year plan for that teacher? So my whole thing is if a teacher feels as though he does have a very clear and coherent plan for his or her future, then I think they come to work with a lot more positive mindset. I always tell people, look, any place that you're at, a school or even a business, that will either be the springboard for you to jump to your next place, or it will be the showcase for you to really demonstrate what you can do. So for me, teacher wellness is about one, have we optimized their plate? Are all the right things there? And two, is there a clear roadmap for them to progress into the roles that they wish to get into?
Right, so that they are not limited to only one point where they have started. So you provide them, lot of forward, going forward, a road, a trip, and lot of trainings are provided. So do you provide trainings in your school?
Yes, yes. So I always make sure there's training on two different levels. So in-house training is about making sure people are abreast with the skills for our priorities within the school. But we also need to make sure that whichever exam board we are accredited by, be it Cambridge or be it the IB, we need to make sure that the teachers are trained within their subject disciplines. So the training is twofold, in-house and external. And those training sessions make sure that the teacher is ready for, working within that school and for any future careers and future plans. Training and development are so important. You need to make sure that the person is well skilled and even, able to move to a new institution and thrive. So we
Yeah.
want to make sure that they're future proofed and they're ready for whatever steps they're going to take going forward.
Right. And like, how do you think academic pressure, makes the teacher also feel bad about the students, when the children are not able to thrive? So do you think it's a teacher's fault, or do you think it is the student's fault? Whose fault it is?
I don't think it's a teacher's fault, nor do I think it's a student's fault. I think it's a leadership fault. As a
Okay.
leader, we have to create the environments for the young people and the teachers to thrive. As a leader, we have to think about all the stakeholders, parents, our
Right.
governors. So it's a leadership issue. When there are problems at a school, it
Right.
always goes back to a leadership issue. When you do your root cause analysis or your five whys, it always
Right.
goes back to something that a leader has not done or has failed to do properly. So I would say teacher burnout, poor results, poor stakeholder relationships, it goes back down to leadership. So we have to own it and look very hard in the mirror and see what we should be doing, what we ought to be doing to ensure that our young people are thriving, our teachers are thriving and flourishing, and that our
Right.
stakeholders feel well respected and well heard.
Right. So totally agree. Skillsware is also working towards a lot of trainings and the flourishment of schools only. So even, we are working towards the school flourish index, in which we measure the burnout of teachers, we measure the leadership trust index, and also we measure the school students' mental wellness as well as the teacher
Yeah.
wellness. So that's the index
Yeah.
the Skillsware is working towards, and we provide trainings also for this same. But when we have discussed across different leaders, so they say there are a lot of things which leaders are not even don't have the liberty because they are also tied due to some reasons,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
they say leadership is not only about being nice, it's more about, the rules and regulations. So we are sometimes not able to fulfill the needs which teachers want or the students want. So what is your take on that?
Mm. I think you brought up a good word. Use the word nice. And I think that's an interesting word because I don't
Yeah,
think anyone can actually really be nice
right,
because nice almost implies you're trying to make sure everybody's happy. And that's impossible. I
right.
think being kind is being truthful, is being ethical, is being transparent, and you have to
True.
stick with your values. If,
Right.
if, if things that you're doing are ethical and correct, win, lose, or draw, you have to be happy with that outcome. For me,
Totally
leadership,
agree.
it always goes back down to, are you doing the best thing for the majority of the people? And if you have
Totally agree.
staff under your care who perhaps are not meeting your expectations, that's okay. Every person will thrive in a certain environment.
Right,
They
totally
cannot thrive in
agree.
the environment that you're
Yeah,
creating. Exactly. So it's about then be very honest. Look, I want you to do A, B, and C because here are the reasons, here's the sort of why behind it. If the person can't do those things, that's fine. They may
right.
be well suited for another institution, another environment that will better shape and use their skill set. So I think a leader has to have his or her values, needs to have their strategic direction. And if somebody isn't able to meet those requirements, that's okay. I wear a size 10 shoe in the UK. Someone else
Right,
might wear a size 8 or a size 5 shoe. It's about fit at the end of the day. If somebody
right,
doesn't fit your institution, they can go elsewhere and thrive and flourish in that space.
right. Agree. Because every right fit is not means the right system. Everybody has their own,
Exactly.
yeah. Every person needs a different fitting of shoes and different fitting of education system and the environment for them to flourish. So, like, you
Exactly.
have worked towards, different education system like IB, Cambridge.
Yes.
So, what is
Yeah.
the difference do you feel is there in all these systems? And what is the beautiful
Wow.
thing which is going to be there in all together? Yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough question. I would say most of the international curriculums do have a very similar focus. They're very
okay,
sort of globally minded, they're very internationally focused. I would
okay,
say the difference between the IB and the Cambridge, the
yeah,
IB is a bit more explorative in the way the elements that they use. So it's a
right,
very broad program. They have a lot of elements that allow for the young person to express him or herself in different arenas. be it the CAS, the service, the extended essays, whereas the Cambridge program is a far more traditional program with the A-level program where the young people have, a select number of subjects and there aren't those other elements. Both are well recognized by universities, but the two almost operate in different spheres. The IB wants a really broad and holistic young person. The Cambridge allows for more sort of subject specification, more
Right.
sort of subject expertise. So I would say those are the differences.
Okay. So, like, if you have to choose, like, so which will you prefer, IB or Cambridge? Which one?
I really can't answer that. I would say, I've worked at schools where there's a blend of the two programs,
Yeah,
so Cambridge IGCSE and IBDP. So I really can't answer that. I would just have to say, end of the day, every school uses their curriculum how they see fit, and there's always space for adaptation and innovation.
right,
So I can't argue either way. I would say both have their brilliant
right.
pros and their beautiful things about them.
Agreed. And we also believe that any education system which provides and enables teachers to innovate, I think that system is better system rather than being rigid
Exactly.
and fixed to one thing where teachers cannot innovate, teachers cannot put in their own thing. It's not going to work because whatever may be written in IB, Cambridge, or the lesson plans, it is not going to work for all the children in the class. So teacher has to go beyond
Exactly.
that. So yeah, agreed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
And there is
have to
very one
modify for your context.
right, and there is one very beautiful thing which I have read, like you implemented a pyramid of strategy, right?
Yes.
How did that change alignment in the school, the pyramid of strategy? So please enlighten us with that.
Well, the pyramid of strategy, I will simplify it because I don't want to overcomplicate things. It's
Yeah,
essentially everybody has the why. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing X? Why are we doing Z? And
right,
that why, once everyone understands what it is, things make a lot more sense. So the why is the big picture, the big questions behind what it is we're doing. And then we
right,
have the what, then we have the what beneath the why. So why we're doing this and what is it we're actually going to be doing? We're going to be doing, teacher training. We're going to have a broad curriculum. We're going to be innovative, like you mentioned. And then the final part is the how. So it's essentially a why, a what, and a how.
okay,
And that how might involve our operational things, our day-to-day things. But the why, what, and how is essentially that pyramid of strategy. And when all the stakeholders have a very clear picture of the why, the what, and the how, it minimizes
yeah,
questions or uncertainty. I think, by default, many of us are a bit critical or a bit negative or a bit pessimistic. That's when you don't have the answers. When it's
right,
very clearly laid out for you, here is our why, here is the what, and here is the how it's going to be achieved. It makes
right,
things a lot more simple. And the stakeholders can sit together, and if they ask questions, it might be a particular bit. Oh, why is this part here? Or what is it going to happen here? Or how are you guys doing this? Once you've got that all laid out and everyone can sort of say the same things, for me, alignment is so important. Most organizations and schools, institutions, the big challenge is always alignment.
right,
Perhaps you haven't done a good enough job of explaining the why or detailing the what and detailing the how. And for me, it minimizes issues because that alignment is very clear. Everyone understands the why, the what, and the how.
right.
And you explain it and you put some dates around it, some time around it, so people understand, okay, we're trying to achieve this in this time frame. We're doing this in such a way. So the why, the what, and the how really is the strategic pyramid.
Right, agreed, totally agreed. And also, Anthony, it's such a wonderful thing. We are getting so many insights from you. You have also worked towards LMS, Manage Back, and PBL, right? What role do you
Yeah.
think technology play in reducing stress versus adding pressure? Is it
No,
actually
you're
reducing
right. I think
stress?
yeah, you're right. Listen, I think anytime you implement a new system, that's
Right,
very challenging. And it takes a while for everybody to get their head around the why, the what, the how. But the idea is once you've got a system in place, a digital system particularly, it's supposed to make things easier for you. So it's supposed to reduce teacher stress, reduce workload. You have one area that all stakeholders can go and see information. It goes to answer questions. Parents and teachers can go on this one platform and they can
Right.
find the answers to questions they have. And the whole point about having a sort of LMS, a digital system, is that you do have that one hub that everything we do works within. You don't have to go to external websites and other programs and applications. It's a sort of one-stop place where you can find everything you need that allows for a parent to be better informed, a student to be better informed, a teacher to plan his or her lessons and curriculum outlines. And I've really enjoyed working with teachers because I think teachers, for the most part, they understand what really works. And the digital spaces are not to replace teachers because you never can replace teachers. But
Right.
digital spaces are to make things a lot easier and streamlined for them.
Right. And what do you think, like, down the line, within 10 years, these digital tools are going to help and how the education will evolve by using all these digital tools? What do you think from now till 10 years?
Well, yes, I think you're right. The digital world is here, the AI world, and we know that we have to embrace it in such a way that our young people and teachers are using it as a tool to enhance our human relationships. So if you have AI in your classroom, it allows information to come more quickly. But then the beauty of it is you present these ideas to our young people and say, look, let's evaluate them. The AI has showed us A, B, and C. What do you young people think about this? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? So I think teachers need to look at the AI as another vehicle to present information. It also means that in terms of big organizations like the IB in Cambridge, how are we going to assess our young people? I think it allows us actually to embrace more sort of hands-on, more sort of creative work, more sort of longer projects, because it's so easy for a young person to generate an essay or to generate a report. Now I think it allows them to be more creative. Let's assess a young person in the way they dialogue and the way they sort of, express their thoughts and feelings in a more creative way. So I think the way technology is going is, a bit overwhelming, but it means we have to be a lot more creative with our assessment, and it allows our young people to get information more rapidly. So it actually makes them more independent, and then they can come to the classrooms armed with all this information, and then they can discuss with their teachers and their peers. So for me, I'm very, very pro AI. I'm very pro technology because I think it allows us to create more organic spaces for creativity, because now the information is not being hoarded by a teacher or being hoarded by an individual. It allows information to really flow from all sides.
Right. But do you think there should be some age limit for using AI for the children? But there have been because cases where, the child has taken some AI feedback and which did not go well. So there was even one or two. There are suicide cases are also there, not much.
Yeah.
So there should be an age limit for AI or not?
I think, okay, I'll answer that in a bit of a strange way. There should be an age limit in terms of when a child is using the AI independently. If a 4-year-old child or a 5-year-old child is in the classroom with his or her teacher and they're using a device and they search something on the AI, what I would like is this young person now takes this information and takes it to his teacher and says, sir, madam, I've searched this thing on AI. Can we discuss it? Can we talk about it? Can we pull it apart? So I have a very different view on terms of an age limit. I think we should have a limit in terms of how much a young person is using the screen because of the damage on the eyes and because of the damage on the physical body. But I think that every young person should be allowed to explore, but with an adult around them to supervise what exactly they're searching, and also to give them, their human feedback, their organic feedback. I
Yeah.
might search something on AI and think it's true. However, when I present this to an expert, the expert can tell me how authentic this information is, whether I should look at it from a different perspective. And this, for me, is where the teacher becomes even more useful, because the teacher actually can scrutinize this information and actually
Right.
show the young person that you've searched this on your chat GBT or your Gemini AI, and actually it's not true. This is actually how we can look at it. And this is actually how in the real world it's been applied.
Agreed, agreed. And have you worked in the beginning of, like, starting of any university or startup of any school? Have you worked in any startup?
So, I mean, my current school is about 7 to 8 years old. I haven't been involved in starting a school from the very beginning. But I mean, my current school, which is 7 to 8 years old, there's so
Okay.
much that we are starting, we're beginning, we're innovating. And even a school that's 40 years old or 100 years old, we're always trying to do something new. So
New.
there's always room to start something new. But I would say, in terms of starting from zero or from the ground
Yeah.
up, I haven't been involved in such projects. But my current school, we're starting to really strengthen our A-level program and make sure that
Okay.
we've got those really strong connections with universities around the world.
So, like, when you have some new programs, so how do you ensure there is 100% admission rate? There's 100% enrollment. How do you ensure that?
I think you can never have 100% of anything.
Okay.
Anytime you start something, there'll be some who agree, some who disagree. I think it's the Simon Sinek that talked about, you have these
Yeah.
really early adopters. Some people get it straight away. Oh, this is what you're doing, this is where you're going. Then you have those middle people that are a bit slow to sort of get the idea. And then towards the end, there's the sort of late adopters. I think that bell curve is a very real thing. There'll be
Yeah.
some that get it straight away. There'll be some that need a bit more time. So you need to be patient as a leader to onboard people. And those who are a bit slower to sort of grasp why this change is important and necessary. So the onboarding process, I believe, is, it can't be something very quick. It needs to be something over a span of years sometime, because you need everybody to understand it. I think you need to start and then gradually onboard everybody. But your initial process is explaining that why.
Yeah.
Even if someone disagrees with you, they understand your rationale. I always say, look, we have some people that are vegetarians and some that are meat eaters.
Right.
Even if you eat meat, the vegetarian has his reasons for it. Even if you don't agree, you understand why he's doing it. So I think that big why allows people to see the rationale and the thinking behind it.
Agree, totally agree. So, like, in case, like, we shared with you that, we are preparing a product for School Flourish Index. So, have you been come across any of, there are a lot of training programs, just a 1 day training programs. But in case there is a product which is actually working towards the teacher wellness,
Yeah.
because whatever we say, teachers have a burnout because, they have a lot of pressure, they have academic pressure, they have a lot of, in kinds of, we'll say, doing a lot of paperwork. There is a lot of pressure, right, on the teachers, and
Yeah.
we keep on focusing
I
on
agree with you.
student wellness and student health. That how these all things working towards teacher will actually help us to help the students, but there is no product actually which is working directly for the teachers. So what do you think, in case there is a product which is actually working towards the teachers, will help out the students as well?
I agree with you 100%. As a parent, my wife and my children are very important to me. However,
Right.
my relationship with my wife, if that's not going well, my children will suffer.
Right.
Similarly, at school, if the teachers are not well and they are stressed and they're burdened, they cannot actually help our young people. So you are 100% right. Our children are perhaps the most valuable, but our teachers perhaps are the most important.
Right.
In the sense that the teachers, their well-being is so necessary for the achievement of our young people. So I agree with you 100%. We need to do a better job of ensuring that teachers are well and able to perform without stress, without burden, without burnout, so that they can actually help our young people to thrive and flourish. So I know you can talk in depth about what you're doing in that area, but it is
Right.
so important.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, one message which you will like to give to the, any school who is just starting and beginning. There are a lot of schools which are coming with AI products, who have like 2 hours of AI and the academic thing, and then they have different skill based or maybe physical trainings. So, one message you would like to give to those startups?
I think it's understanding that every plan or every system has its weaknesses.
Right.
And your stakeholders are so important because they identify the blind spots. I would
Okay.
say, as much as we have a brilliant idea, also be open to people seeing, 1,000 things wrong with it,
Mm-hmm.
and be open to feedback, criticism, suggestions, because at the end of the day, people are giving you advice or giving you their perspective to help ensure your plan or your system works. So I would say be open to feedback, see where your blind spots are very early, and engage with your stakeholders. Let people understand that big why behind what you're doing. And I think, enjoy the journey. We shouldn't be sensitive. We shouldn't be, arrogant to assume we know everything. Let's
Yeah.
be open to what people say, be open to improvements and suggestions, look at what works well in other institutions, be a learner. Ask people, hey, how are you doing this? I'm trying this. What do you think? Where have you been successful when trying to implement this initiative? So be an open book, be open to stakeholders' suggestions, be aware that you have blind spots, and be open to learn new things.
Right. So kind of a creative, a group culture, a supportive culture. That's what you're
Yes,
focusing
please.
on. So in the end,
Exactly.
one message you will like to the people watching this entire conversation, to all the leaders or teachers, one last message, what you will like to give.
One last message. At the end of the day, we're here to serve people. Let's serve them the best we can. Let's always ask them how we can help them. Let's always ask how we can improve. Let's be servant leaders, and that way our young people and our schools and institutions will always thrive and flourish.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anthony. It was such a wonderful conversation.
Really looking forward to it. Thank
Sure,
you so
sure.
much for your patience and your flexibility.